Good morning. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da 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 dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Steve. There's just something about that nigun that just helps open up the energies.
Mm.
I always have this notion that at some point I would like to do a program where that's all that happens.
Mm-hmm.
All that happens is a nigun. And I just imagine that in doing that, people, all of us would have, the mind would go, wait a minute, isn't something more going to happen? What am I here for? And then there'd just be moments of like letting go into it. And what would it be like? That's all there is. All there is. All there is a melody. And just witness how that strings itself through all kinds of thoughts and all kinds of feelings. And all there is that melody. And sometimes, somebody might kind of just listen and sometimes sing along. And somehow just opening, perhaps, at moments where it becomes clear that there is something that is always within us. It's actually not the nigun. It's the awareness that holds the nigun. It's the awareness that holds whatever. And sometimes what our awareness holds is so changing that we get caught up in it, because it draws us right into the objects of our awareness. And what we forget is the awareness itself. It's like the illumination of our being, that it's always here and it's always the same. But we lose sight of it. We lose awareness of our own awareness. We lose awareness of the essential nature of our being because we keep identifying with the objects of our awareness rather than with awareness itself. This either makes sense or it makes no sense. And in some ways, language can't capture it. The mind can't capture it. It's almost like an intuited awareness, an intuited knowing, an intuited recognition, an intuited realization. So sometimes I think that just holding on to a nigun can help kind of open. But there are other ways of opening, and one of the other ways of opening is called Shabbat. One of the other ways of opening is, what my co-teacher Tova calls Shabbat consciousness. That awareness that is actually here all the time, and that we particularly celebrate, remember, honor, open to at a moment called Shabbat, a Sabbath. And while Spiritual Saturday is not in any way a Shabbat service, I do it on Saturday because this is a day that marks that and honors that universal energy. When the Sabbath was instituted in ancient times, it was not instituted for a people called Jewish. There were no people called Jewish at the time. It was an awakening to an essential rhythm of creation. That we involve ourselves with the objects, we involve ourselves with the doing, and at some point, whether it's a particular day or any moment or always, to kind of move from our attention to the objects, our attention on the objects of awareness back into awareness itself. So that's the invitation, and that's the promise of a spiritual Saturday. And this is really a very interesting spiritual Saturday because it also happens to be Juneteenth, which has just become a federal holiday. And it's so interesting to read some of the opinion pieces. Mostly I've been reading responses by various African Americans to the federalization of their holiday. It's a celebration of the announcement of freedom for those enslaved, which actually took place 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. But it took that long for the authorities in Texas, particularly this happened in Galveston, to announce it. And it is very likely that one of the motivating factors in their finally announcing it was a large troop of Union soldiers who were African American, who came to participate in the war on the southern border of Texas with Mexico. So there was a remarkable show of force of free African American soldiers. And it was probably largely due to that the impact of that power, that the proclamation of freedom was finally acknowledged in Texas. So that gets celebrated, and it's been a celebration of the African American community, and there are those who are not quite sure about, well, how do we feel about white folks celebrating this? White folks are the ones who've been responsible for the oppression and still are. We don't want white folks to think, well, this means everything's okay, because everything is not still okay. Everything is not okay yet. But it seems that most are inviting obviously the African community, the African American community, to continue celebrating, and to invite those of us who are not African American to really appreciate and honor and do everything we possibly can to identify and to respond to the systemic racism as well as the personal racism that still exists in our society and in our culture, in our country. So this too contributes to the energy of the wholeness of this day. Because becoming aware of the universal nature of our consciousness, the universal nature of our awareness, is to become aware of the absolute interconnectedness of all being and the absolute interconnectedness of each being. And to know that each and every one of us and all of life carries that same consciousness, whatever the color of skin, whatever the culture, whatever the background, whatever the age, whatever the gender. And in that recognition, to be aware of all the monstrous ways in which we dehumanize each other, and in ways in which we assert power over each other. Particularly to be sensitive not only to the racism that has contributed so much to the suffering of African Americans, but to the marginalization of Hispanics, to the anti-Jewish activities and sentiments, to the much larger and deeply continuing process of disenfranchisement of the major part of our population that are women, and somehow responding to an ancient patriarchal system that still lives. There are so many not yet free. Shabbat is a moment of opening to the reality of the deep and abiding freedom that is ours always. And we'll be talking about that this morning, but to find ways of allowing that deep freedom, that deep connection, that deep brightness, that deep wholeness to flow outward through us, to impact the whole of consciousness, to impact all of us. So we open to that energy by celebrating the moment with Ma Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful the day, Shabbat Shalom. Now, remember that Shalom means, it translated as peace, but the word means wholeness and completeness. And that's what we celebrate at this moment. That's what Shabbat consciousness is, absolute wholeness, absolute oneness. For those of you who are watching at home or wherever you happen to be, we invite you to sing along with us. We invite you to step into allowing the moment to truly be complete and whole and beautiful, because that is the nature of your being. That is the nature of the being we share. Ma Yafeh Hayom.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day. Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day. Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom, Maya v'hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is a beautiful day, and up here in the Pacific Northwest, it literally also is a beautiful day. I don't know if anybody recognizes the image that's behind our pictures on the screen. You know, there's like planks and lights, kind of light and dark, reflects the theme that we'll be moving into in a moment. And the planks kind of look like a foundation, like something to stand on, something to steady ourselves with. It's always a interesting question. Cameron, who delightfully and masterfully handles the audiovisual requirements of this program and all the programs at Unity in Lynnwood, among his many other enterprises, kind of looks around for what images would be fitting to show behind a spiritual Saturday. So it's always fun to figure out what exactly did he have in mind with this one. And I like the light and the foundation, the flooring. So I wanted to talk about blessing and curse, and you might wonder why would I want to talk about that today? And you know, one of the things about my tradition is that every week there's a section of the Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. There's a section of the Torah which is assigned to every week during the year, so that as we go through the year, we actually wind up reading, rereading all the sections of those 5 books. And although people might think that rabbis have a great deal of creativity in their choice of topics, a great deal of that creativity comes from what the text is talking about, you know, and what that awakens in us. Because if what it awakens in us this year is the same thing that awakened in us last year, then it's a reflection that we haven't grown. Because Torah is a spiritual text reflecting the nature of the spiritual beings through whom that text flowed. And that doesn't mean every word is spiritual. It means that because it flows through essentially spiritual beings who are having a human experience, there are glimmers and sometimes radiances of spiritual clarity, just as there are moments and radiances of spiritual clarity that each and every one of us can celebrate. And the portion that begins, that we move into this coming week, has one of the more remarkable stories. It's in the book of, called Bamidbar, which is in English called the Book of Numbers. It's called Numbers because the very first section starts with a census. It's called in Hebrew Bamidbar, which means in the wilderness, because the book Bamidbar is about the wilderness journey and actually takes us all the way right to the edge of the promised land. The next book, Devarim, which is the 5th of the 5, in English called Deuteronomy, is actually final talks of Moses, you know, instructions, spiritual instructions. And then that book ends with Moses' death and entering into the land. So the book of Bamidbar is actually the journey. And in this section is one among many where we are encountering different peoples as we approach the land, and we are asking to be able to walk through their territory and saying, we're not going to use your water, we're not going to take anything, but we don't want to go to war, and we would like to pass through your territory. Some people say, sure. Some people say no. And conflicts and battles arise. And we're approaching a territory of Moab, the Moabites, and the king of Moab, named Balak, sees us coming and is afraid. And he decides that what would really help the Moabites defeat the Israelites would be to have a curse spoken, to have the people of Israel cursed so that it would lead to their defeat. So Balak sent for a professional curser. Now, of course, the interesting thing in our days is that if somebody's a professional curser, they'll think they are the blinking thing on a computer screen. But Balak said that the person he wanted to contact was a professional blesser and curser named Bilam. And Bilam was so good at blessing and so good at cursing that whoever Bilam blessed was truly blessed, and whoever Bilam cursed was truly cursed. So King Balak knew that if he could get Bilam to come and curse the people Israel, his Moabites would be able to defeat the Israelites. So he sent a group of dignitaries to go talk to Bilam and offer Bilam significant riches to come and curse the people Israel. And the people came to Bilam and told him what they wanted, and Bilam, in the story, said, well, I'm going to have to consult God. And interestingly, the language indicates the same God that the Israelites are worshiping. I'm going to have to consult God and see whether it's right for me to curse these people, because I can only do that if God says it's proper. So Bilam says, listen, stay the night. I'm going to enter into meditation, and I will let you know in the morning what God says. And of course, God is to be found then, like God is to be found now, within oneself. The language keeps making it sound like there's some guy out there or some gal out there, but that's an unfortunate it's an unfortunate trick of language. Bilam comes out in the morning and says, I'm sorry, I can't come curse those people because they are blessed. God has blessed them. I'm not able to come curse them. So the people return to King Balak with the news, and King Balak is really upset. So what he does is he selects some even higher ranking princes, and he increases the reward that's being offered to Bilam. And these higher level princes make the journey to Bilam, are met the same way. Bilam says, okay, stay here. I'm going to consult in meditation. And Bilam comes out the next morning and says, I can go with you, but I can only speak what God tells me to speak. So I can't guarantee anything. But it is really clear that the rewards that Bilam is being offered are really tempting. And Bilam would like to be able to go and engage in the activity of cursing so that he could receive the rewards that had been offered, the payment. So Bilam saddles his donkey and they set out. And as they're going, they pass through a field, and all of a sudden the donkey under Bilam veers off the path and wanders into the field. And Bilam is really upset with the donkey. What are you doing? And he actually whips the donkey and says, get back on the trail. And a few minutes later, they're going down in between a vineyard. And all of a sudden, the donkey pushes against the side of the vineyard and kind of presses against Bilam's leg. And Bilam, they stop, and Bilam shouts and is angry at the donkey and again hits the donkey. Come on, go. And gets him to go. And all of a sudden, they're wandering through a very narrow passage. And as they are about to move out of the narrowness into the field, the donkey sits down under Bilam. And Bilam is furious. And Bilam starts whipping the donkey. At which point, the story says, God opens the donkey's mouth, and the donkey turns to speak to Bilam, which is really interesting because it's the answer to the question, how many animals are there in the Torah who speak? Do you know? There are 3. There's the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who speaks to the woman. There is the donkey who speaks to Bilam, and there are human beings who speak to each other. Anyway, the donkey turns and says to Bilam, why are you hitting me? Have I not been your companion? Have I not served you for years? And yet you're not paying attention, and you think I'm doing you harm, and you whip me. Open your eyes. And it's like God opens Bilam's eyes, and he looks, and right in front of him is an angel with a sword. And the donkey was able to see that where Bilam was going was dangerous. Bilam was about to be killed. And the donkey was saving Bilam. And Bilam sees and goes, uh-oh, I don't know what to do. And he moves into his own meditation and seeks counsel. He says, okay, I clearly was not supposed to go. What shall I do? Shall I turn back? Shall I go with these people? And the word he hears is, go with these people, but speak only what you hear. Speak only with the integrity of your inner guidance. So Bilam goes. He is greeted warmly by King Balak, who takes him up to the heights, shows him the people, Israel, and says, curse those people. And Bilam goes through this ritual of sacrifice and meditation, and comes out into where King Balak has prepared for him to pronounce the curse, and instead Bilam pronounces words of blessing. He says, God has blessed these people. How can I curse them? These people are blessed. Balak is furious. And Balak says, okay, wait a minute. Let's go to another place. Let's go to another lookout. Maybe you can curse them from there. And again, they move to the other place. Bilam goes through the same rituals of sacrifice, again comes out, looks down at the people, and pronounces words of blessing. And Balak just doesn't know what to do. But he knows we have to try this at least one more time. And before we get to that next time, it just felt like time for Steve, the song, Try Another Day.
This is kind of like a musical intermission.
Yeah.
But with purpose behind it. Okay. That's awesome. And Rabbi, I think you know this. I wrote this song thinking of, I was watching one of my sons go through a difficult time with a relationship, and then I thought about some of the difficulties he and I have had, and then about my sweetheart and me, and just how we always have this chance to, the song's called Try Another Day, we always have this chance to, whether it's in the next moment or the next day, to become our best self in that next moment. So we've battled way too long, struggled through some nights, warring about who's wrong, possessed with being right, dreaming we'd hang on to memories fading fast, gravity so strong it keeps us in the past. Let's try another day, perhaps the morning light will wash this war away and bring love back inside. Let's dig out from this hole before they ever list our names amid the tragedy told. Let's try another day. Though I know there's fear, I pray with heart in hand. The only thing that's clear, it's time we make this stand. Let's try another day, perhaps a little space where love can find its way and fill our hearts with grace, respecting each one's soul. We just might find a way before another hurt unfolds. Let's try another day. Let's try another day.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome.
I don't know whether for a moment I was hearing an echo. I don't know if everybody was hearing an echo. It's a little different than what King Balak was trying to get Bilam to do with try another place, try again, to curse this people. But for the third time, Bilam goes through his ritual of sacrifice and moves out onto a new vantage point and not only speaks words of blessing, contrary to what King Balak had hoped, but among those words are words that have found their way into the traditional Jewish prayer service. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How good and how pleasant, Matovu ohalecha, are your dwelling places. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, literally ohel, your tents, your habitations, Israel. Mishkanotecha, your indwelling presence. Your indwelling presence, Yisrael. Obviously, King Balak was upset. Obviously, when the battle broke out, the Moabites were soundly defeated. But it's a remarkable story. It's a long story that is told in the book Bamidbar. It's an unusual kind of narrative. And it's powerful because blessing and curse are so much a part of our consciousness. One of the difficulties is that it's almost automatic to carry energies of curse. What are energies of curse? Energies of curse are energies of not okayness, energies of fear, energies of suspicion, energies of fault, energies of blame, energies of victimhood, energies of expecting the worst, energies of defensiveness, energies that are essentially saying no, that are essentially energies of resistance, that are essentially energies of closing down. And there's something about human consciousness that automatically focuses on the negative. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has noticed that our mind naturally gravitates toward what's wrong, rather than automatically gravitating toward what's right. And that puts us into the energies of the curse, participating in that vibration. Our minds do that because our mind, which is identified, which is part of our notion of this separate self, is always looking out for dangers to its existence, threats. And where once those threats might have been physical, wild animals, now most of the threats are emotional threats, like somehow just reinforcing things about not feeling okay, or not feeling deserving, or not feeling worthwhile, or not feeling enough, not having enough, not getting enough. And the mind just naturally carries those energies, and those energies impact our lives and impact actually the lives of everyone around us. It's not like standing up on the high place and looking down and pronouncing words of curse in that way. And yet, it is as if we are standing somewhere within our minds and looking out at us, looking out at others, looking out at our world, and, and just automatically focusing on what's not okay, automatically focusing on what's hurtful and painful, automatically focusing on the no, on the not yet, on the not quite, on the almost, automatically focusing on the problems. And in that focusing, just supporting on an energetic level those very problems. The story speaks to us because in a lot of ways we are each professional blessers and professional cursers. But we don't, unlike Bilam, we rarely take time to enter into meditation and to see is what we're holding in negative energy really to be held in negative? What's really going on here? What is the deeper energy within us? And the deeper energy within us, I think, can awaken with gratitude. One of the very first things that my tradition invites me to say when I first wake up in the morning is Modeh Ani. I give thanks in your presence, living eternal being. I give thanks. I give thanks in the presence of the one of all being. You'll notice that the first two words are written somewhat differently because Hebrew, like Spanish and many other languages, has masculine and feminine versions of verbs. Modeh is spoken gender masculine. Modah is spoken gender feminine. They both mean the same thing. It's the same words. Modeh ani lefanecha, modah ani lefanecha. I give thanks in your presence. Yah chai v'kayam, living and enduring being. Living and enduring being, awakening within me. Living and enduring being, awakening as me. Living and enduring being, awakening right here and right now, always. We move from an energy of negativity to an energy that is very different with gratitude. Right now, thank you. I give thanks. Goes like this.
Modeh ani lefanecha, Ya chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, Ya chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, Modeh ani lefanecha. Modeh ani lefanecha, Ya chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, Ya chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, Modeh ani lefanecha. Modeh ani lefanecha, Ya chai Vekayam mode ani lefanecha yachai. Vekayam mode ani lefanecha. Mode ani lefanecha.
It's really a matter of choice. Where are we going to put our consciousness? When we notice that we are focusing on the negative, it's like we can't go, I don't want to do that. We can only take that energy and put it somewhere else. We can take our direction, our intention, our focus, and focus it on something else. Focus it on the yesness. Blessing is yesness. Focus it on rightness. Focus it on acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean I'm doomed to this forever. Acceptance means I'm open and no longer am clinging to something through the negative energy I carry. I'm no longer stuck with this thing by trying to reject it. Because pushing against something, trying to reject it in consciousness, actually keeps us hooked to it. Acceptance, which is blessing, allows shift to happen, allows change to take place. It's very, very difficult for the mind to appreciate this, but it is operationally clear. It is just operationally clear. It's like even pain. When we have pain, we tense. There's a tension against it, and that tension increases the experience of pain. And I'm not saying that to let go of that tension will automatically dispel any pain, but it shifts. An awareness of it, an acceptance of it, an allowing of it. See what else is there. See what else unfolds. See what else presents itself. Feelings. Feelings rise and fall, get sharp and weak, heavy and light, unless we stick to them, unless we focus on them. So what happens? What happens if we allow the moment to simply wash over us, to simply let ourselves be exactly as we are now, to let everything in our consciousness, everything in our awareness, all the things we have, all the things we believe, all the things we see, all the things we hear, simply be as they are. What happens if we let go of resistance in this moment and allow the moment to just wash over us?
I wish you peace and truth and all the strength you need in this dream we call today. I've dreamt of hope and love where the land meets the sea, washing over you like a wave. I want to give you one gift each and every day, one gift throughout our lives. I've sent these thoughts across the universe to guide your pathway, share this dream tonight. wash over you like a wave that cleans your hidden beaches. Feel it rinse away your pain, wash over you with a gentle wave that leaves you in the sand with love so pure, till you need to dream the waves again. I wish you peace and truth and all the courage that you need. Oh, precious are the memories we create. I've dreamt of hope and love where the clouds go to seed, pouring over you like the rain. I get caught sometimes feeling helpless. We're always trying to say the right thing. It's a time for being selfless, to share a smile or a tear or a reason to sing. Wash over you like the rain. Let the clouds gather quickly. Feel them rinse away your pain. Wash over you with the sweetest rain that leaves you in the sun with love so pure, till you need to dream the rain again, till you need to dream the waves again, till you need to dream.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
It's like letting the moment wash over us. Even whatever the feeling is, letting the feeling wash over us. Whatever the thought is, letting the thought wash over us. And what's really astonishing is when we really allow that, shift happens. The thought, the feeling, they don't exactly maintain themselves without resistance. They don't retain themselves, maintain themselves without opposing, without trying to get rid of them. Try to get rid of them, we stick to them like flypaper. Allowing them to wash over us. At any moment, we have opportunities to carry energies of blessing and energies of curse. And boy, it makes a difference in our world. It makes a difference in our world. And it goes deeper than that because there's something different about blessing. There's something radically different about the nature of blessing, the nature of yesness, the nature of acceptance, versus curse, the nature of rejection, the nature of knownness, of finding fault, expecting the worst, blaming, suspicion. Recently, in another context, we were talking about, and one of the teachings I do with Tova, we were talking about how we have to be careful with our language because we keep identifying ourselves with our separate self by saying, I am sad, or I am happy, or I am frustrated, or I am unhappy, or I am happy. And so one of the things we've been encouraging is to change the language a little bit so that we're not identifying as those things, but we're honoring feelings. I feel sad. I feel happy. I am having this experience. I am having this feeling, but I am not this feeling. I am not this experience. Because there's something about the way we use language that really just reinforces this small identity that keeps us separate and keeps us in competition and in fear and in struggle. And one of the participants was commenting that when he realizes I am feeling upset, rather than I am upset, I feel upset, somehow the upset decreases. And he noticed that if he's feeling good, if he's feeling happy, if he's feeling positive, and says, I feel good, I feel positive, I feel happy, the feeling actually expands. I mean, he's using language the same way, but there's a difference in the consequence. And this, people could try this. And it becomes clear that the positive, the energies of blessing, the energies of yesness are in harmony with the deeper essence of our being. Because the deeper essence of our being, our awareness, our I amness behind everything, before any object it carries, is clearly an energy of blessing, is clearly an energy of yesness, is clearly an energy of peace, is clearly an energy of love. So those are the feelings that when we not identify with them on an ego level, but are aware of having those feelings, it causes a resonance. It strikes a deeper chord. It awakens something greater. And we get a sense of the consequence of the energies of blessing or of curse that we bring into our world. Because when we are with each other, what we are carrying impacts, affects. When we are in the world, what we carry, since this consciousness is universal, what we hold in consciousness has an impact energetically. And it either draws us separate or opens us to our greater connection. My favorite blessing, and in a lot of ways, my tradition is a tradition of blessing. There's blessings for pretty much everything. And what a blessing does is it links a particular action or a particular thought or a particular feeling or a particular reality to the universal presence. So it's a way of connection. And my favorite blessing, which I recite more than any other, is called Shehechianu, Baruch Atah Adonai, which is to say, the absolute blessed oneness of the universe, Eloheinu. This one awakens within everything, and this one is the enduring creative presence, Shehechianu, who holds us in life always. V'kiyamanu, who supports the unfolding of our uniqueness. V'higianu lazman hazeh, and who brings us to this very moment for blessing. To connect every moment to yesness. To connect every moment with, I am here on purpose, I am here with meaning, I am here for good. I am not here by accident. There is something that is needed in this moment that is needed from me. And what this moment needs from me is me. The truth of the one I am is needed right here and right now. We sing about it as I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time.
I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I am here to learn, and I am here to teach. I am always here. I am here to love, and I am here for good. Hine, I am here. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I am here to learn, and I am here to teach. I am always here. I am here to love, and I am here for good. Hine, I am here. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I open my heart to this moment. I open my heart to this time. I am here to learn, and I am here to teach. I am always here. I am here to love, and I am here for good. Hine, I am here. Hine, I am here. Hine, I am here.
I love the word hineni, which essentially is a Hebrew word that means I am here. Hine ani, behold, I am here. Behind all the objects I hold in awareness, I am here. Behind all the changes in my world, I am here. Behind all the changes that have occurred in my physical being, I am here. And the I am that is here doesn't change. The I am that holds all the objects of awareness is the same. And it's a shared consciousness. It doesn't matter whether you talk about it within you or within me at this location or that location. It's still I am. It's still the awareness that holds everything. To know that that is the universal. To know that that is the one naturally expressing love and peace, naturally, an energy of acceptance, an energy of such safety and such sureness, an energy on the other side of what the body experiences as birth and death. It's like life. And the life that awakens within each and every being, that life knows no opposite. It's here in this being, and it will be here without this being. And when I attach my identity to this temporal being, I forget that which is essential, and that which in fact gives this being purpose, and that which gives this being possibility, and that which gives this being the opportunity to bring blessing into my world, to support all those in my world with blessing. So I invite you just for a few moments to settle back and let your eyes close. And you might gently repeat Hineni. It's like a gentle mantra, Hineni, or I am. I am here. I am always here. Hineni. And just allow yourself to let go into the moment, however and whatever it holds in your consciousness, to simply allow everything to be as it is. Everything to simply be as it is. And to gently be aware of all the feelings, of all the thoughts, of all the sensations. I have this thought. I am not this thought. I have this thought. I have this feeling. I am not this feeling. I am the one who has this feeling. I have this sensation, or I have these sensations in this body. I am not these sensations. I am the one who has these sensations. As I gently repeat Hineni, I am. I'm aware of how the thoughts shift. Thoughts come and go. The mind speaks a narrative of its own accord, almost automatic. Sensations rise and fall. Feelings And the one who holds the sensations, the one who holds the feelings, the one who holds the thoughts does not change. That one is ultimate blessing. I am blessing. I meet every thought with yes, every sensation with yes, every feeling with yes. And when I do, I notice what happens. I attend to the consequences of blessing. I attend to the consequences of allowing. I attend to the consequences of releasing any resistance. And as I do, I am aware. I am blessed. I am whole right now, right here. Hineni. Here I am. And you'll notice as you take a gentle breath and let your eyes open, and hold the vision and know behind that, Hineni, I am here. As we conclude our time together, I know that some of you are online at the time that Steve and I make this presentation. And I know that others come in to kind of share, allow us to share with you at times that are more convenient for you. And I would like to invite you, those who participate, to let us know. You're welcome to text Unity and Lynnwood to let them know how you feel about these spiritual Saturday moments. Feedback, whatever it is just always so valuable. You know, one of the issues with presentations online is that there is a lack of the immediacy of an energy. So it really helps, and we welcome your comments or your emails. And just if you go online to unityandlynnwood.org, you can find me there, and you can write as well to the church, and it'll get to me. It'll get to Steve. I also would invite you to consider contributing financially to support Spiritual Saturdays, just as many of you do to support the other programs at Unity and Lynnwood. we appreciate the opportunity to be with you once a month in these programs. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, wherever and whenever you are, because I know that wherever and whenever you are is always right now and right here. And I know that on an extraordinarily profound level, we are connected. So I wish you Shabbat Shalom and remind you that on this remarkable journey, we are blessings to each other as we journey from strength to strength, from love to love, and from life to life. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Join us as we conclude with the nigun that we began. And you're welcome to carry this nigun with you into all the moments of your days.
Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da 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 dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai dai da dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai da dai.
Thank you, Steve. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you,
Shabbat.
Cameron.
Thanks, Cameron.
Shabbat Shalom.